Hi, I'm Gracie, and this is Scott with Small Worlds Big Adventures, building community through gaming. And today we're going to review Ticket to Ride.
Ride is a game for 2 to 5 players. Plays in 30 to 60 minutes. It is $50, and you can set up takedown in about 10 to 15 minutes. The game is collecting sets of cards so that you can purchase rail routes across the map and accomplish many goals that you have on the
Absolutely. You can do this, but when you're choosing your rail lines, choose ones that overlap to make your job easier.
Sure.
And if you want big points, go coast to coast.
You can see that tip on TikTok. That's a TikTok tip.
Trains, kind of depending where you are a really popular way of travel or not. So we're curious if you guys have ridden a train. The only train I've ridden, I'm pretty sure, is the South Shore from South Bend to Chicago. But I do want to it's a scenic train in northern Iowa, Boone, Iowa, that will take you through the fall foliage and all that stuff. But if you've been on a train, where did you go? And if you haven't, where would you want to go? Scott?
I've ridden an actual train from Indiana to Colorado and back.
Yeah. Did you have a sleeper car?
No. not at that time. 3 kids and 2 adults was not going to be a sleeper car. Kind of a little bit cramped, but not too bad on the seats, but they have an observation deck and a diner car and stuff like that. You can get up and walk around, no problem on the train. It's a fun experience.
Awesome. Going into our train game, we rate games on a 5-point scale, from terrible to bad to mixed to good to excellent. And to kick it off, we're going to talk about player agency. What did you think of player agency?
Player agency is good. Most of your turns are going to be quick, and you're just picking up cards. And then once you have enough cards to take a rail line from city to city, you'll play them and stuff down. The only thing that's kind of stopping you in that is the stuff that the other players are doing.
Yep, agreed. It is good based on your own personal approach. You can pick cards you see or cards you don't see, and then you can kind of decide how you're going to approach the different tracks. Not excellent, but good.
Yeah.
Speaking of what other players do, our son did during one game decide he was going to take all the rainbow trains. Don't be that person. When it comes to mechanics, I think it's pretty good mechanics. Pick up cards. When you have the right cards, you lay down track. I think solid, simple to understand.
Yeah, I fully agree. The mechanics are good. They are fairly simple, but they work real well.
Yeah.
They also make for a quick turn-to-turn type of game because you don't have a lot of things you can do. Those things that you do don't take that long to do.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you're just picking up cards until you get a hand that you're essentially then going to play.
Yeah. Components-wise, good. It's a simple game. You have the board, you got the cards, and you got the train. And I would say all those are pretty good components.
Yeah, I agree. I said good as well. The board is decent.
Yeah.
At this point, it's about what you'd expect. The train pieces are all little plastic pieces that are differently colored. There's nothing super great about them, but they're not a little cardboard thing or something.
Exactly.
So they're nice. The cards are fine. They're good components.
We'll say we have the basic Ticket to Ride game. With as many people like this game, I'm sure there's much more elevated.
So even when we were purchasing it, there are themed sets of trains that are themed to the cards. I forget what they are, but yeah, they are different. You can purchase those as a separate thing.
If you're very passionate, you can also level up your game.
Yep.
Theming. Thoughts?
Theming is good. You are trying to create essentially a railway empire. There's not a whole lot to that. You're mostly just connecting cities to each other based on your individual goal cards. But it feels like you're putting together a rail line across the West. fun.
I also think theming is good. Kind of like going a little deeper into it. I believe the rail lines that are on the map are representative of the rail lines that were built out originally. So historically, there is a lot of like reason for why those rails go to those places. But yeah, the theming is good. I mean, there's not a lot you can do with such a simple to play game
Yeah.
to like build on what is already there.
The game is just kind of really simple, so
Yeah.
there's not a lot to put there. Something that maybe to mention here is there's a number of versions of the game
Yes.
that are, my understanding anyways, the big difference is that they are different parts of the world. So there's a European Ticket to
Yep.
Ride. I think there's a Asia Ticket to Ride. I'm not sure about any others.
Yeah, and I think they've also done some like spin-off ones too to get really specific enjoyability. Good.
It's good.
It like with all the goods we've listed, it might sound like meh or okay, but seriously, like this is a good, enjoyable game. It's a solid game. Again, by this point, you guys should know I love a game I can play over and over again. I could play this an entire weekend and not get tired of it.
You had the game on your phone.
I did.
Played it
I did. I played it on my phone.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoy it every time I play it. It doesn't take it. It's almost a good gateway game in that aspect.
See, final thoughts. I think it's a gateway game.
Okay, I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's simple to explain. It's quick to explain. It's one of those, and we probably ought to come up with a category for it. But it's one of those where we just finished playing the first game of the night, which is probably the big game of the night or something, and now we're looking for something else to play, and we're looking for a lighter game. And there's really only kind of a handful of games that were quick to go, oh, well, we could just pull this out and just play it. And this is certainly one of those games.
For sure. Going off of your thoughts as far as like almost a gateway game, I think it's solidly a gateway game. Like you said, it's easy to explain. It kind of introduces players to that concept of you have these secret missions and then you're building towards them. You could definitely do just like a mindless choosing. But then also as they get better at the game and introduced to it more, they can be a lot more strategic with the rails they choose and whatnot, so that they can nicely kick their fellow players' asses.
Sure.
But because of all that, like I think it's just a good base game that helps them branch off into things like the water deep or more complicated things.
Yeah.
So, and then off of that, you can be super chill. You can just be like, I'm just gonna collect my trains and just lay them down. Or you can be plotting from the very beginning.
Sure.
Hoping to get the lines that overrun. I'm not gonna say that's the player I am, but when I first pick my two ones, I get the longest ones that most match each other. And then I strategically add more, hoping that'll cover the same lanes I've already covered.
Right.
I mentioned it's good at onboarding, and then also, you touched on this. There's lots of expansions. So, like, if you like this, you can get others. And I'm not even sure they're really expansions. Those are just different versions of the board game. But
yeah, we haven't really looked into it much, but that's my understanding.
So, like, if this is something you enjoy, you have a lot more options and variety. Because again, sometimes you can get a little tired of something. And so there's lots of ways for you to add more spice to it. What did you think of what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts, one, it feels like from when I was a child to now that there's a new set of what we would consider classic board games now.
For sure.
When I was a kid, it was Monopoly and Risk and stuff like that. And now
terrible games.
You can have opinions on games. It's fine.
Look for that TikTok later.
They aren't games that we're playing. So,
nope.
And that now there is essentially a new set of classic games. usually people's first go-to is Catan.
Yeah.
So Catan is generally now considered essentially a classic board game, and I feel like Ticket to Ride is considered a classic, and rightfully so. It hits just a really good spot in gaming. Been out for quite a while, and it does what it does just really competent.
Yeah, I think it, and building off that, I think it covers the kind of like two types of board game folk. The family night board game folk, and then the like die hard,
Yeah.
this is my life board game folk.
Yeah, sure.
And both groups would be happy with this.
Yeah. You touched on it, and I think our final thoughts are in some ways fairly similar. It's a good social game.
Yeah.
It's when most of your turns are, one, really quick, and two, mostly just I pick this card, I pick this card. It's really easy to just kind of pick cards and have a conversation with people around the table. It works well for a decent amount of people too. Like, because those turns are going so quick, it doesn't matter that you're playing with 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
It works well. My final takeaway is, and I kind of touched on this, was it's just an easy pick. When we're looking for a game to play and we don't have something specific, Ticket to Ride is one that gets pulled out quite a bit, especially when we've got people over who don't play very often. Like I said, I don't know if I agree quite so much that it's a gateway game, but it is one that will pull out for people who don't play these games very often.
When I think of a gateway game, I think of your Uncle Bob.
Yeah.
Could Uncle Bob play it?
Could Uncle Bob play this?
And Uncle Bob could play this.
He could play Ticket to Ride.
Yeah.
No, that's very fair.
Uncle Bob is the most pleasant man, but maybe the more complicated games are not for him.
Got unfairly turned into a werewolf in
He did.
House on the Hill.
Yep.
And that was fun.
Yep.
That was interesting.
He is not the one who should have gotten that.
Yeah.
If you like Railroad Tycoon, because trains.
Because trains, yeah. I mean, it's a train game. This is kind of the quintessential. Honestly, it's almost the other opposite direction. If you like this, you might like some of these other more complex train games.
Yes.
Yeah, if you like train games, this is a good one.
Yep. If you like Lords of Waterdeep, again, you kind of have those secret mission cards. You meet your mission, you get a new mission, and kind of build up that way.
You're gathering up resources in order to accomplish these missions that you're gathering throughout the game. Yeah.
I mean, Lords of Waterdeep's worker placement, and this is I don't even know what you would
area
call it.
Control, probably.
Yeah. But they in that dynamic of like your missions and stuff, similar feel.
Yeah.
And then Catan.
Yeah. It's
just iconic board games now.
I mean, not just they're both kind of classic. Also, Catan is an area control in a lot of ways. So is Ticket to Ride. You're gathering resources in order to take control of those areas. And so it's Catan. So, yeah, if you like Catan, there's a good chance you might like this.
Yep. And if you like those games, you probably like this video and should hit that button. Also, if you like board game reviews or walkthroughs or even gamekeeper tips for tabletop role-playing, you should hit subscribe. We try to post them weekly. And then if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified the next time we upload a video. If there's nothing else, we'll see you next time.
What if you like liking things? Where would you like that?
You would like the like button.
No, like. Hello.
That's a little naughty for the video.
Oh no, I assume